Hello, 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 hello. Come in the room, come in the room, come in the room. Come on in the room. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I pray that everyone is having an absolutely amazing day. I have so far, I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see. Um, we have made it to another TWOC Talk Thursdays with your girl Raquel. And actually, my ED is coming on, so she'll be here shortly. And then my coworker Dash will be here shortly. In fact, there's Dash right now. So I'm going to let Dash introduce themselves. Let me bring Dash in. Oh, okay. So Dash, you have to unmute yourself in order for me to bring you on. There we are. And
hello, hello, hello. It's so wonderful to be back here in the land of TWOC Healing Project, Raquel. I'm so excited to be back.
Yes, indeed, Dash. Thank you for being here today. So this is our TWOC Talk Thursdays, Dash, of course, as you know. But to everybody out there, for those new who may be coming in or maybe here, this is our TWOC Talk Thursday, where we come in and not only do we give information, but we also not only do we give information, we also just talk about all that's going on in our community. And that's what we do on Thursdays, not just what's going on in our community, also giving you a space and a place where you're able to come and discuss even topics that you'd like to talk about. We also do our best to give you some information about what's going on currently in our world, as well as the different things that we have going on right here at the TWOC Healing Project. My sister just called me. She must have forgot it's Thursday and it's TWOC Talk Thursdays. And so I'm going to talk to my sister later. And how you guys doing? Somebody talk to me. I see that we got some people here. How are you doing? Tell me who you are. Say your name. My ED is on her way. And of course, she is here. Let me turn around so you guys can see my beautiful ED. Oh.
Oh, a lip.
Oh yeah, she makes sure that
I'll be back on suspension.
She makes sure that she puts her lip on. What you call it? Your rouge, not your rouge. What you call it? Her little shellac. There you go. She makes sure
shellac on the lips.
Yes, that she gets the shellac on them lips. And so Toya's here today. And so we're going to pretty much just have an organic conversation. And so I'd like to say before we get started that indeed that TWOC Talk Thursdays is a place where we believe in giving you the tools or helping you get on the journey so that you can live a life of being healthy, healed, and whole. That is what we believe in, because the belief is that as long as we are all on a journey to being healthy, healed, and whole, then our life gets to the space and place that we'd like it to be, as well as the space and place it is destined to be.
Mm-hmm. So we have some events coming up. Raquel, tell them a little bit about the events we have coming up.
So we have events coming up. Give me one moment. Let me pull those up because I have them right here. And
so
what it is
November the 18th. Why you finding that?
No. I was going to say what it is. Yeah, there's a bit of it that I do remember. I was just going to pull up to make sure that I give the correct dates and stuff. However, so November is going to be our month of transgender awareness month. And wait, Dash, you're going to have to mute your because it's echoing. Yeah, echoing.
So the gala, so as she's finding that,
which is November the 18th.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So we are having So this has been a very jovial kind of day. Because as you know, the enemy is raging on every hand, right? There is a whole lot of negativity that is, oh, it's right here. There's a whole lot of negativity that is going on around us. There's a whole lot of negativity that's happening in our space, and
Is it?
yes, there is. As well as in our community. So I want to give a shout out. Is that good enough for you, Tori? Let me see. That's good. Okay. So I want to give a shout out at this moment. And yes, I'm diverting real fast, but I want to give a shout out because I said that there's a lot going on in the community. I want to give a shout out to Corey Iman. Our prayers are with you in the loss of your goddaughter and in the loss of your husband. We are praying for you. We're sending strength your way. We're sending positive energy your way. And what a lot of people don't know is that when death happens, as spiritual as I am, as spiritual as we are, people don't want to hear about scripture. They don't want to hear about to be absent from the body and be present with the Lord. They don't want to hear about God knew best or God needed another angel. No, what I believe that people would like is people to be present. I believe that people would like you to be present and just be there for them. And so, Corey, we are here for you. We are praying strength your way because there's nothing that we could say that could bring your husband back or bring your daughter back. So just want you to know that we here at the TWAC Healing Project, our heart goes out to you and we are praying for you. Yeah, so wanted to get that out. And so on November the 18th, TWAC Healing Project, as well as the I Am Human Foundation, we are coming together and we are having our awards gala. This will be the third, am I correct?
The third annual I Was Here Memorial Gala that will take place November the 18th at the Civil Rights Museum, 1800 Ivan Allen Boulevard, Atlanta, from 7 to 10:30.
Absolutely, and it is the I Am Human Foundation, as well as, or should I say, TWAC Healing Project and the I Am Human Foundation presents a night of transcending together, a night of celebration, commemoration, connection, and community care. Yeah, so be there. It is free, right?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So I think because we have limited space,
Okay.
that it's a fundraising gala. So
Okay.
we'll see what that looks like. So yeah, so we'll keep you all posted.
So if you want to get more information
Yes,
about the gala, you can reach me, myself, Raquel, that's RAHKELH at TWOCHealingproject.org, or you can reach my ED at
Toy at TWOCHealingproject.org.
and Dash, if you and then as you can see at the bottom of Dash's name, it says info. So for information, it says info at TWOCHealingproject.org. Dash, can you please let them know how they can reach you directly?
They can simply just reach out to me on Facebook or send me a message, or just call the office. We're here Tuesday through Thursday from 11 to 7, and just simply pick up the phone and call us and say, hey, we're interested in some tickets. We would love to have you come be a comrade. And the gala is just not for trans individuals, it's for the entire community. And we want to foster that growth and that education within the community.
So 2 things, Dash, you mentioned, just give us a call. Can you give them the phone number and then give them your email here at the TWAC Healing?
Oh, gauntlets are being thrown.
770.
I have it. There's no need for it. It's 770-713-2792.
731-2792. That is correct, Dash.
Gauntlets are being thrown. She tried it.
Gauntlets are not being thrown, Dash. Don't say that because we don't.
But make sure you tell them about HOP.
And also, like as Dash,
let her tell them about HOP.
As God mentioned, oh my God. As Dash mentioned, you can follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram. And usually Dash is usually the person that gets that information first and disseminates it to us. But Dash does have their own email. dash@twchealingproject.org.
I'm sorry, guys, I cannot see. So November the 15th through the 24th. Yeah,
Oh, you put your glasses on.
so I can see. November 15th.
Why you haven't had them on the entire time?
November 15th through the 21st is Trans Awareness Week. And so we will have quite a bit going on that week. We're also going to have on that week, on the 20th, the T-Door Community Town Hall.
19.
Okay, so on the, where's my 19th set up? I don't have the 19th here.
So on the 19th, we'll have our trauma-informed healing space that will take place here at the TWC Healing Spa. You guys will get a chance to witness this, get a chance to experience the spa and the many services that we offer in the spa. Maybe we can give you guys a tour one day, but
And because we have limited space, make sure if you decide you want to come, and again, it's open to all. Just give us a reference, letting us know you're coming up front, so we can make sure we have the accommodations for you. That's all.
You had just cut her off. So also we wanted to let you know about the following day, which is November the 20th, and it's the T-Door Community Town Hall to provide approaches for informed trauma approaches and sexual assault. That is a free event with free food, and we'll have different speakers, and that will take place again at the City Hall downtown. Yes, City Hall. That's on Trinity, isn't it?
That's correct.
Downtown Atlanta on Trinity Avenue, and that will take place from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, it's a town hall meeting for all community, no one excluding.
And also to culminate that day from 6 to 8, we'll be doing our remembrance ceremony, because that actually is Transgender Day of Remembrance, the 20th, and we'll be doing our candlelight visual, and we'll be doing our ceremony to honor our siblings that we lost due to senseless violence and murder. So make sure you guys come out and support us. It's going to be a day filled with information, community building, community care, and camaraderie. It's going to be at Atlanta City Hall. There are going to be several organizations there that's going to be vending, that's going to be there making sure that the information about their organization and the work that they're doing in community is being supported and cemented. So make sure you all come out to City Hall. It's a free event. It's from 11 to 7. If you're interested in tabling, if you know an organization that does provide services to community members, reach out to us and see if it's possible that you guys can set up a table, and you want to table and provide information about the organizations that you work with or provide support with. So there'll be a tabling opportunity for those individuals that work within the grassroots organizing or nonprofit sector.
And then another piece of information on November the 17th. So this will kind of be the lead into everything that we have going on here at the TWAC Healing Project. I will be the host of a Benefit for Education, NOMO organization in partnership with the LGBTQ Institute at the National Center for Civil Rights, Civil and Human Rights, presents a Benefit for Education. And you can get that information. It's a formal event, so you can get that information as well from me. You can reach out to me, and I can give you any information on that at Raquel. That's RAH. Well, actually, for this particular event, you can reach out to me at Queen Mother. That's QUEENMOTHERRAHKEL @gmail.com. That's Queen Mother Raquel @gmail.com. For information about this event on November the 17th. So as you can hear, we have a very long week that week. No, oh, and you got, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Got one. Which one you forgot?
Oh, Transgiving. Oh, how could I forget that? I probably didn't forget it. It just slipped my mind. But when you said I forgot, it came back. So Transgiving, I'm gonna let my ED tell you about it. No, ma'am, you can go ahead and do that. I'll allow you to do that. In fact, I'll let Dash Talk to us about Transgiving, Dash.
Okay, Transgiving, it will be an opportunity for us to not only give back to the TGNC community, but just to give back to community as well. We'll be also doing some things within community for members of the community who may need some sort of assistance, and as well as supporting the CIS community as well, because we want to be inclusive and intentional about the work we do here at the Healing Project. Yes, most importantly, our first priority is trans women of color, but as a whole, we do care about the community. Now back to you, Toy.
Thank you so much, Dash. And so, guys, please forgive me. Stop. This has been a really, I'm telling you guys, this is
From the meeting this morning, girl. From the meeting this morning.
This has been a real silly kind of day. So please forgive us. We're human. And y'all know that we're normally more together than this. So listen, let me go down what's going on for that week. Like I just said about the 17th, I gave you the information about the 17th. That's going to be an evening for education. Any information you need for that, you can reach me at Queen Mother Raquel. That's QUEEN MOTHERRAHKEL@gmail.com. Then here at the TWOC Healing Project, we are having on November the 18th, Trans Women of Color Healing Project and the I Am Human Foundation presents I Was Here Gala 2023. This is the third annual gala that we've been having, and it's Transcending Together, a night of celebration, commemoration, connection, and community care. That will take place on the 18th. Now, if you want more information about that and you would love to attend, it is a formal event. You can reach out to myself at Raquel, that's RAHKELH, at TWOChealingproject.org. You can reach out to my ED at Toy, TOI, at TWOChealingproject.org, or you can reach out to my co-worker, and that's Dash. That is Dash, what's your Dash at TWOChealingproject.org as well. Or if you didn't get that, you can reach out to us at info@TWOChealingproject.org, and you can get any information that you would like on any of these events that we're talking about today. On November 19th, we'll have our Healing on Purpose Spa, assisting community members with trauma-informed leadership techniques and holistic healing approaches right here, right in our space. So you can reach out to us so that you can get that information. We would love to have you. It's an open event. You can come and allow the Healing Project to be a vehicle of healing for you.
What kind of healing?
And so we will have massage, we will have yoga, and then are we going to have Reiki that day as well or no? Yes, and we will have Reiki that day as well. So please come and experience our spa here at the Transgender Women of Color Healing Project. Then on November the 20th, Healing on Purpose. That's the town hall meeting on trauma in the TGNC community. Foster a collaborative dialogue between TGNC community members and community leaders to address prevalent trauma issues and brainstorm collective solutions. That means we are all going to come together and talk about what's all been going on, talk about the traumas that our community faces. So we're going to talk about the traumas that our community faces. This is not, y'all, it's scary. The traumas that our community faces. And after we talk about it all, we're going to all come up with collective solutions so that looks different for us. That's what it says, solutions. Absolute plural, meaning a lot of solutions. Everybody, yes, ma'am, got you. Everybody will be able to have a voice at this town hall meeting. Don't allow your voice not to be heard. And the only way your voice won't be heard in this town hall is if you do not show up. It is at City Hall, downtown Atlanta, on Trinity Street come on, and we're going to be right there. On yes, ma'am.
And finally, but not finally,
Go to the next.
on the 21st, we're going to be having our Transgiving event. You all know that. If you don't know, Transgiving is a day that was celebrated aside to honor and celebrate our allies, our comrades, those that support us throughout the year. Those trans folk, or those allies, those comrades that come together that make sure it's possible for us to be able to do the work that we do. Our family members and loved ones. It's our day. We all come together, celebrate one another, and love on each other, and we break bread together. That's a tradition that takes place during Transgender Week of Awareness. So it's culminated on the 21st with our Transgiving event. It's a feast that's going to be held, and it's sponsored by Trans Women of Color Healing Project, Game Changing Men and Solutions Not Punishment Coalition, SNAPCO. And also we'll be having games, and we'll be having the pain and sip, but it will really be not the sip, because we're not sipping.
We're not sipping, but what we're going to do is we're going to do what would normally be a sip and paint. Instead of a sip and paint, we're going to congregate and we're going to paint.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be something that we're going to do together, and then you'll be able to express yourself with a paintbrush. Yeah. So, Toy, we have a few people here. And so Malik is here. He said he's praying. Thank you, babe. Also, reach out.
Hey, Vaca, my son Vaca. If any of you don't know, when you talk about, I'm from New Orleans,
you skipped to Vaca. You didn't. It's what he said. Well, he said for us to reach out to Sebastian Smith as well.
Sebastian,
no, Malik is saying also reach out to Sebastian Smith for the I Am Human portion of the gala. If you if you're trans masculine, you want to reach out to someone from the I Am Human organization, you can reach out to Sebastian Smith, and his name is spelled Sybastion Smith, SMITH, for the I Am Human Foundation. Thank you, babe. Go ahead, Vaca. Hi, Vaca. I don't know you, but hello, love.
That's my son. So
hey, Vaca.
Vaca is one of the pioneers when it comes to bounce music in New Orleans. It was Vaca and Katie Red, and Vaca was one of the ones that made that fought for us to be able to exist and express ourselves in the music industry. So I wanted to celebrate and highlight my son Vaca. So.
Oh, good. You are celebrated, Vaca. And then Malik said you never went back to telling us, to letting us know what's negative going on in our community.
Right? So let's get right into it. Thank you so much, Bronco. Before we get into, because this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The person in the room is saying something. You could just, I guess they want to be summoned back into the room.
Okay.
So this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And before we get into that domestic violence piece, me and Dash had the privilege, because I really make sure that the team members that are here at the Healing Project are not just here working in community, but they're getting the skills and the resources that's needed to expand their leadership and their guidance, right? And so each one of the members here, they get a chance to go on these journeys around conversations and healing and these seminars and all of those different things. And we had the privilege of being in, as Dash said, we wasn't in San Diego, but to me it was San Diego. There was a convening for Black women addressing sexual assault. And one of the conversations that we had there was, how do we engage or bring folk or make folk comfortable with talking about their issues of sexual assault, right? When it comes to Black women, Black trans folk, Black TGNC folk, queer folk as a whole, as Black people. And as we were having that conversation, we were talking about the role that entertainment and media plays into that. And there was one of the individuals that name came up when we talked about the song. And while we were passing judgment, even though we're put in place to provide services, there's a such thing called being human. And that human part of us, we talked about, I don't know if you're familiar with this, some of you may know. Her name is Sexy Red, right? And Sexy Red is the artist that made the song. I don't want to say the lyrics to the song because, this is a professional platform, but she has a song that's very provocative in a way and sexually suggestive, if I may say myself. And we were talking about the song. And while we were talking about the song and talking about the lyrics, we all were like in a place, not of judgment, in a place of awe. But as we were doing that, there was a participant in the room, and she immediately said, well, I think it's bigger than what you all are seeing right now. And I think it's our job in this room to go beyond what everybody else in society sees. And as she said that, she pulled up this interview, and in the interview, she Sexy Red was having on a podcast with Lil Yachty and someone else, and they asked her a question. They said, "What was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you?" And Sexy Red response was, "Oh, I was raped."
And that was the most embarrassing.
It was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to her, right? And so in that response, I didn't get embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
I got that. It pulled me to a rest. I had to realize in that moment that this person is crying out for help in a large way, right? Mm-hmm. The songs and the lyrics are so sexually suggestive and things of that nature to where it makes you forget sometimes about the human. Mm-hmm. It makes you forget about the human and forget about the acts. And no way in those lyrics did we think about the person behind it. But when that young lady brought up that interview, and she showed the interview, and Sexy Red talked about how she was raped. And they didn't ask for that. They asked for what was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you. Mm-hmm. She said, "I was raped."
And that's to be heard.
Right. Mm-hmm. So in that moment, that made me think about the work that we could be doing, that I could be doing, to create a place that's more stigma-free, that's more judgment-free. Because if we don't allow folks to be themselves, how are we making sure our services and our practices and our doors are open to them? So I just want to bring that up. I know this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, but I really want to uplift that we have a different responsibility when doing this work. We have to make sure that we're creating an environment that's conducive to the healing that's needed. And that's without judgment, because it's our job to eliminate the stigma. And in that moment, she talked about how she was raped as a moment of her being embarrassed. And fast forward, because of her being raped, and how that whole her statement and her revealing that was not met with empathy and not met with compassion. Lil Yachty is getting all kind of backlash because of the way he handled and responded to her mentioning that she was a victim of rape and sexual assault. So I just want to uplift that and bring that to the space, and also to let folks know that just because you're queer and you are part of the TGNC community, that does not mean that you are that you're not at risk of being a victim of IPV, which is intimate partner violence, right? Statistics show that intimate partner violence, before I get into the statistics, intimate partner violence refers to physical, psychological, or sexual abuse or aggression on or towards you in a relationship, whether it's your boyfriend or girlfriend, whether it's romantic or sexual. That's what interpartner violence is. And that when you are engaged in a relationship, regardless of your gender, you have an ability, you can be a victim or survivor of intimate partner violence, which is also domestic violence.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have something I want to add.
You can add it, but you got to turn your volume down.
It's off.
You can go ahead.
Well, over the last 2 months, we've been traveling a lot here at the Healing Project. And I had the pleasure of accompanying Toya and her husband to Georgia's Summit on Domestic Violence. And it was in Jekyll Island. It was in Jekyll Island, Georgia. And it was a little troubling. It showed that I still live in the South, and that my presence, I live in Atlanta. Atlanta is a very progressive city. However, surrounding Atlanta, they're not progressive. So it showed that I still live in the South and that my queer voice isn't heard. Nowhere in this conference that they mention intimate partner violence, which is what goes on in the LGBTQ community. So queer individuals were not referenced there. I think they were actually afraid to talk about gender based on one of the groups that I attended. You can't talk about domestic violence without talking about sexual assault. And the reason why I say that, I've had a lot of individuals that come to me personally and say, man, my boyfriend did ABD to me. And in the process of him doing these things to me, I had to have sex with him just to pretty much end that situation. So when you take that on, how can we talk about domestic violence and not talk about sexual assault? 1 out of 10 individuals have been victims of sexual assault unknowingly. And one of the things I learned going down to Calls Bay with Toya was we all in the same fight together, and there are multiple types of sexual assault. And I'm more than sure Toya will go over those different types of sexual assault. And through doing the work talking about sexual assault, I realized not only was I working in the industry of sexual assault, helping people that are victims of sexual assault, I'm a victim of sexual assault by multiple facets. And 1 out of 10 of the person that's tuning into this video today, you've been a victim of sexual assault. You just don't know it. Now back to you, Raquel.
So we don't want to leave our audience out. And so we see where no more organization, Zaria, she said it's an direct response of a woman that is not healed, going back to what
right.
Toy was talking about.
And in that moment, Zaria, the only thing I could think about was how I went into that place of being human, that thing that we have to work every day to remove ourselves from. When you're put in place to be a service provider, when you put yourself to be in, when you position yourself to be in place to provide service to community, you have to make sure that you're not going through things with those same lenses, because if so, we miss it. And that was a particular moment that I missed, because it wasn't until that interview that when the young lady introduced that interview, I was able to go back into that space and understand that. But unfortunately for that lady, she's not surrounded around folks where she feels as though she can get the help and the support that she needs because of how she shares her experience. Mm-hmm. They asked about an embarrassing moment. She shared about her instance of her being raped. Absolute. Not only was that conversation, her introduction into that, was it a cry for help, but her song lyrics, right? Because what we realized there is that there's no value in her body. Mm-hmm. And because someone has taken it from her, she no longer feels as though she owns that. And that's usually what takes place when your space has been invaded in any capacity. Even if you look at your house, if your house is broken into, if your car is vandalized, there's now a thing of abandonment that takes over, where you immediately shift to a place where I don't want this anymore. Yeah. Right? Yeah, you no longer, you reject ownership of that because your space is violated or invaded. Mm-hmm. And when I think about the lyrics to her song, and I think about most of the other ways that some people cry out for help, it makes me understand more as a service provider, the work that I have to do, the work that we have to do at this organization, and the work that needs to be done in community to create a space that allows people to be themselves, that's stigma-free, that's judgment-free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so Zaria said, what are some of the forms of sexual assault that's not only physical? Well, when people are catcalling, people are calling out to you obscenities, and when they're saying things to you that sound like that have to do with sexual connotations, those are forms of sexual assault.
Someone sending you an unwanted picture.
Mm-hmm.
Someone just sending you a nude picture of themselves. That's sexual assault. Manipulation is one of the biggest forms that we deal with, right? Manipulation, someone that understands that you have a weakness, or you have something that they possess something that you need. And we experience that a lot as teens growing up and transitioning and living in this community. Under an older person or someone can be your peer that understands that they have a privilege over you in this moment. Mm-hmm. They have something that you don't have, and they use their position or their privilege and to manipulate you into getting a service or getting something out of you that they desire. That's sexual assault.
Yeah.
Just having someone send your pictures out without your permission, or someone threatening you, typically for LGBTQ men, not so much as women, but it happens a lot in the younger gay male community, where someone will find out their sexuality and they'll say, "Oh, I'm gonna tell your parents. I'm gonna tell everybody you gay if you don't do something with me." That's sexual assault.
That happens to every gender. That happens to every gender, because at the end of the day, what happens is you're manipulating me and telling me that something we have is special. Mm-hmm. That thing we have is special, and you lead off with you sharing something with me. Now it's even to a point that the picture that the person shared with you may not even be their picture. But because that's not where you are in your mindset, that you're not a predator, you're not preying on nobody. You're not going to have a phone full of other people's body parts. So if that person sends you the picture and you feel as though it's a comfort zone, and that this person is interested in you, and we experience that a lot with youth that's in school. There, these young women and these guys are sending their pictures out, and next thing you know, 2 days later, they're forced into and coerced or manipulated into having sex with a person. And if you don't have sex with me, if you don't do this, I'm going to tell everybody. And it still ends up them being controlled, because now that they have that over them, well, if you don't do my boy what you, all of those different things, that's one of those things. That's how the dynamic kind of shows up, and it's not allocated to gender. That's why for this particular month, domestic violence, we wanted to open our platform up to bring visibility and awareness to how this particular instance affects our community.
Absolutely. Zaria says, how do we create a space for people who use their artistry as a cry for help due to trauma?
Stop funding them. That's one of the conversations that the group that I facilitated was over. We was talking about how sexual assault shows up in the music industry or the entertainment industry. We named a few individuals, and the only reason why we named those individuals because it's on the record around their instances or issues or their occurrences or incidents of sexual assault where they were the predators, such as Trey Songz and Bill Cosby and all of those different people. And we talked about how we constantly allow that patriarchy feeds that system, and because they're celebrities, we turn a blind eye to the celebrities and we totally demonize the victim.
Yeah. But how would you say that?
Stop funding them.
No, it's just how do we create a space for people? In other words, like how do we create a space so they can be healed instead of them having
these conversations, creating a judgment-free zones that allow people to be themselves. Do more of this. There's no way possible that the Healing Project should be one of the only trans-led organizations that's in the Georgia or the Atlanta area that talks about issues of sexual assault. I'm absolutely doing more of that thing, having more of these conversations, right?
Yes.
And identifying when that happens or when it shows up. I mean, we think Trey Songz is a sexy and attractive, but there's over 5 women that have claims of him sexually assaulting them. That's just him. Chris Brown, domestic violence. It's in front of our face. We turn a blind eye to it,
and we make it okay, right? And we make it okay by, like you said,
and we know
to
that
buy their music
and finance and those kind of predators totally exist because they understand their privilege. Their privilege and their platform is money, and we're constantly feeding their platforms, which makes them bigger monsters. We've seen that with all the community, right?
Absolutely. So, yeah. She said this was good information because not many people know that unwanted pics or verbal advances are forms of sexual assault. So culturally, for LGBTQIA people, how should we address sexual assault that happens within the community?
That's the hard part. So when you go into sexual assault, we talk about, and this is going to get a little heavy here, right? We talk about the subcultures. Subcultures within the LGBTQIA plus communities such as ballroom and pageantry. And I'm going to give it to you, Dash. So those subcultures, when we talk about ballroom, sexual assault definitely happens there. Because what happens is there's a level of privilege that senior house members have, these parents have, and they're using their positions, right? Positionality plays a big part on how this particular incident happens, right? They're using their platforms. Well, if you want to be in my house, this happens. Or if you want to be deemed legend or icon, this happens. In pageantry, it was a lot of talks. I mean, that if you want to win this title, this is what you have to do. All of those different things show. That's how this community is affected by it. And when you're a young person that's transitioning or finding your way in community because you decided to live in your truth and your family was not handed a handbook on how to love and care for a child that's a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, and you're forced out. Now you have to defend yourself in a world where everyone around you, they're predators and you're prey to them. right? So arming our youth with the tools, giving them the tools to understand that your life is worth living. You have the ability and autonomy to make a decision around who you want to be with and how you want to be with them. And there are resources that support you in your decision to say, no, you don't have to sleep with this person to have somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
There's resources present, and making sure the services that we provide are tangible to our youth or to our community members that's at risk. We all are at risk, but making sure we're at these pageants, at these balls, at these schools, and at these clubs, doing the outreach that's necessary.
Go ahead, Dash. We're going to turn it over to you.
Well, Toya actually touched on all the things I was about to touch on. One another thing is a form of sexual assault, which goes back to being advanced on a job. Like if you're up for a position and your boss says the only way you can get that position is if you sleep with me. Or if you're in an organization, let's say a fraternity or a group or something, and they said the only way we can admit you into this club or this organization is if you have sex with all of us. Those are all coercion and forms of sexual assault. One of the things you can do is start by calling it out. I know that's the tough part. That's the hard part, to own it and stand firm in your shoes. A lot of people don't come forward with their victims of sexual assault out of the sheer judgment piece, out of the being devalued, or one of the things, the victim blaming, the shame. Well, she could have did this. She shouldn't have wore this. She shouldn't have went there. He shouldn't have been acting like this. But at the end of the day, no one deserves to be a victim of sexual assault. I have some statistics on sexual assault that I want to go over with you. This month, I was tasked with providing all the statistics. 26% of LGBT individuals have been forced into coming out of the closet or coerced to have sex with individuals through means of sex. And I got that information from the Human Trafficking Report, and also the LGBT GLAAD report as well. 37% of bisexuals were sexually assaulted by their intimate partner. 43% of lesbian or trans men who identify as men were sexually assaulted. 38% of men have been sexually assaulted, and these crimes went unreported. 26% of gay men were sexually assaulted, and as well as unreported. Most of the time, sexual assault involving an act of violence go unreported. Maybe in school, maybe in church, maybe in the workplace, maybe out of sheer embarrassment. So those are some stats that I have on individuals who've been sexually assaulted and how it played in the LGBT queer endeavor. We're at a higher rate for being sexually assaulted than our cis community, believe it or not, according to the numbers that were put out by the CDC. And you can Google all these facts online, just simply typing in the percentage of how you identify and how you show up in community to see, well, where do I rank at on being sexual assault, being a victim of sexual assault? That's all I have.
And I'm sure you all see at the bottom, it keeps going across women dealing with the domestic violence, as well as anyone in the LGBTQIA community. If you need housing, if you need help, you can call that 1-800 number 799-7233. You can also reach out to any of us here at the TWOC Healing Project at info@twochealingproject.com, or you can reach out to any of us individually if you need some help, and we will do everything in our power to be of assistance to you. And whatever you call us concerning and or that you talk about will be kept between you and who you speak to, because we are very sensitive to the fact that it takes courage to be able to even say something about having experienced sexual assault. And so we are sensitive to that fact, as well as we are a space and a place that believes in being having empathy and sympathy toward whatever your plight is, because we believe in getting people on the path to being healthy, healed, and whole.
And most importantly, thank you for that, Dash and Raquel. I think it's very important that we do our job to eradicate those dark places where that hides these particular acts that allow them to grow. Making sure that we don't allow those victims and survivors of sexual assault to feel alone, to feel abandoned. And that's usually how it happens. We're silenced, right? We're made to believe that no one cares. We're made to believe that we're not worthy, that if we do tell someone, they're not going to believe us. They're threatening us, saying that if you do this, someone you love is going to get hurt, all of these different things, right? But making sure that we do our job to create that intentional support system, create those intentional healing spaces. It starts with these particular conversations. Each one teach one. Mm-hmm. You may not have experience, you may not be a victim or a survivor of it, but you may know someone that can be or may be at risk of it. Making sure you share the information that you receive to someone else is how we really do our part to eradicate these systems.
So Zaria said the story of Anita Hill was a clear indication of people not believing her story of sexual harassment and advances. So since there is a history of victims becoming the villain, what are some strategies to support the victims of sexual assault and harassment?
So some of the strategies that we use here, thank you for that question, Zaria. Some of the strategies that we use here at the Healing Project is that we know that folks are going to, a lot of times your livelihood, it's hard to come forward with you're a victim or survivor of sexual assault if you're still living in it, right?
Right.
We talk about how hard it is for you to come forward when that person that assaulted you is sitting right across from the table with you, or if that person is in your family, or if you're relying on them for resources, or for them to take care of you in any way. We don't have no permanent housing, unfortunately, not as of yet, but we can provide emergency crisis support for you, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's a hotel or a plane ticket to get to family and friends that love you, if it's something that you need to get your down payment for your rent, or whatever that looks like for you, or phone, all of those different modalities of support we provide, we believe can be resources to help survivors in that particular moment. And most importantly, we have folks that are trained, that we're working with. We have a network of folks in different states. We'll be releasing a resource guide that Raquel is working on that should be released in February or March, filled with resources that's put in place to provide support to victims and survivors. Yes, as of now, it's more around a regional or a local thing, but we want to expand that resource guide to be national as we're meeting those national partners. As we're meeting those folks that's doing the work on a national level, we'll expand those resources to be national. But that's how we're doing our part, Zaria. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and we also want to acknowledge everyone that's on today. Thank you, Malik, for being here. And sir, as you can see, yes, we are responding to comments. Thank you, Zaria, for being here. Gerald, is it his name? Gerard. Gerard, hello. He says, hey, niece, and hey, brother. Oh my God, I thought you moved to Brazil. Was it talking about Dash? Dash, did you hear that?
Brother, right now, traveling is out of the question. I'm like you, I'm grounded, okay?
Okay.
My sister here.
Yes, Samantha, my daughter is here. Hey, Pumpkin, thank you for being here.
That's my sister, honey. My sister was over the Philadelphia Trans Health Conference. And as I was at that conference, to bring it back to the gala, I attended the Philadelphia Trans Health Conference in 2011 when I did a workshop there, my very first time attending. And it was something that changed my life. Wow. Being able to see that I was not alone. And there were so many folks that looked like me. Mm-hmm. And there were so many other folks that looked like me, but that did not identify as me. Mm-hmm. So giving folks the grace, right? And understanding the nuances and understanding that the differences, and that even though we look the same, that we're not the same, right? Understanding the difference between queer and gender nonconforming, and how important it is to do a proper introduction. I don't want to misgender anyone, regardless of how I am or how I feel, taking that home reductive approach and thinking outside of myself and doing a proper introduction when I'm meeting and encountering people. Hey, my name is Toy. Mm-hmm. My pronouns are I'm Toy and she, her. And if you do that, and it's mirrored. So that way you won't misgender anyone. So I was taught that valuable lesson at the Philadelphia Trans Health Conference. And at that conference at the time, Samantha was the executive director of the organization that put the conference together. I was able to see this beautiful Black trans woman that was in power, that made me feel welcome and created a space for me and has been a part of my life ever since. So I love you, sister.
Yes, and daughter, we're looking forward to you coming back to community.
Absolutely.
Because God put great things inside of you and the community needs you. Zaria, I want to tell you, thank you for being here. For those of you who see this, Zaria, where it says No Mo Organization, if you want any information on the education, the fundraiser for the education benefit, November the 17th, you can reach out to her right there at No More Organizations. And Zaria, thank you so much. She said, thank you for us doing this.
Oh.
Yes. And we are here every Thursday. So Zaria, please join us. We're here every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Join us because your voice is needed as well. Your questions are needed. Your engagement is needed because you are on the ground doing the work in a rural part of Georgia as well, like us.
It's a funny thing. So we focus on South Georgia. No More Foundation provides support in Middle Georgia, which is Macon and on up. We do South, so we're Fayette County all the way down to LaGrange in Columbus, and Zaria and No More Foundation focuses on Middle Georgia, Macon, and what's the name of the other one?
In Columbus.
No,
she said foundation focuses on middle. Oh, that's Utah.
Yeah, she focuses on Middle Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's what's the name of the other? Warner Robins and stuff like that. Cordell,
and the place that I went to. Yes.
So
absolutely.
That's Zaria and amazing work that she's doing.
Yes, absolutely. And Zaria, thank you for the work that you're doing.
Absolutely.
Because it is because of you that now the work exists there. So thank you. Yeah. So this has been an amazing T-Wop Talk Thursday.
That started off a little chaotic. I understand.
I don't know if it was chaos. It was just us being human, and laughter was just in us heavily.
Chaos, and the reason why I can say that
was it organized
chaos brings order.
Yes. So amen.
Chaos brings order.
Yeah.
But when you cleaning up the house, first of all, you have to pull all of the junk out and put everything in the middle of the floor.
Oh, and then start organizing it. Yes,
it brings
absolutely.
order.
Yes, absolutely.
Order.
So it was a little chaotic in the beginning, but as you can see, we put everything in order and got it together. This has been a day of reflection. This has been a day of understanding and getting new ideas, new thoughts, because it's always about us coming together and getting new ideas and thoughts about us moving forward.
So if any of you are in the Atlanta area, I don't know if you into the subcultures. I mentioned it in a kind of a negative way, but there were some beautiful parts of the subculture. If it wasn't for the subculture, such as pageantry and ballroom, I would not have had the life experiences that have gained me the opportunity of traveling so many of the many intersections that I do travel. And one of those amazing pageants that I had the privilege of winning is taking place this weekend here in Atlanta. Is Mr. and Miss Black Universe and MBU Grand. So I'm excited to be a former. I won in 2015 with my amazing King Roman Black. And this year.
And who was your grand queen?
Elvion O'Neill Davenport.
Absolutely. And so
Ruler Davenport.
And so this weekend we will celebrate Mr. Zion Malachi Starr as Mr. Universe. As he relinquishes his title, we'll celebrate Miss Diamond France as she relinquishes
and my
her
daughter,
title.
Amir
and Nye Camry. We will celebrate them this weekend. So please, if you are here in the Atlanta area, come and celebrate. We're going to be at the Ivy Community Center. Yes, the Ivy Community Center right in East Point, Georgia. So if Friday starts at 7 p.m. with the grand. So that's going to be the plus division, no matter 7 o'clock each night. Yeah, I love NBU, so that's what I know. So it's 7 o'clock each night, and so the grand division will be on Friday, and then on Saturday will be the prelim division for Mr. and Miss. They'll do their categories, and then on Sunday will be the culmination where Malachi, Diamond, and Amir will give up their titles. They'll do their final numbers, and they'll crown the new rulers of the universe.
Who are you rooting for, girl?
I'm rooting for them all.
Oh, girl,
I'm rooting. I'm rooting that everybody bring everything that they intended to bring. And so
why must you be politically correct every time?
Okay, well, I'm not trying to be political. Let me finish.
Well, who are you rooting for?
Who are you rooting for?
You know, I don't go to pageants anymore.
And so, actually, I don't know all all of who's doing it. So I can't say anybody specific, but the people that I do know. And then again, I never go off of what's being said in the air because I don't believe anybody's doing it.
Who you're rooting for?
I don't believe anybody's doing it till they get the registration.
But then
I'm rooting for Naomi. I'm rooting for Chastity. I'm rooting for don't tell me Natasha. I'm rooting. Mercedes is doing, like, all these people I love. So I'm rooting for them all. I'm rooting for my niece who's doing the pageant.
What about the male competitors?
I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for McCray. I'm rooting for them all. I'm rooting for T.I. I'm rooting for them all because I love them all.
What about the male division?
I just want the best person who brings what needs to be bought to the pageant. I want them to be judged fairly, and I want the right people to be crowned.
But you didn't mention anything about the male portion of the pageant. You did all the female portions
you can
plus
do it
in the grand.
But you can do it. I'm rooting for my nephew, of course, Mr. Lord. I'm rooting for him.
I'm just
what other
being
male is
messy.
doing the pageant? I don't.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm saying, but I don't know their names. So can you help?
So there's Adonis. So he's coming from. I know Texas is going to be really strongly represented this year. So we have three strong male competitors that originated from Texas. That's going to be there. We have Louisiana that's going to be in the building. My sister Mercedes. And
I said her males, man.
I said the males.
You said one.
I said three.
Oh,
I
you
said
said
Adonis.
names.
I said Saint Laurent, which is Jacoby.
Okay, you
who's
didn't say
the ED of Abounding Prosperity.
There you
my
are.
nephew, I love him. And my stage husband, Exotic, of course.
And there we had, there. But I said Exotic. I said Exotic. I said my nephew already. So it's gonna be an amazing weekend of pageantry. And the one thing that I do know about MBU, if I don't know anything else, is anytime MBU happens, it's like a reunion.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing.
It's like a reunion.
And
a black family reunion.
It's one of those things to where we talk about being culturally specific. That was one of the questions that I'm asked kind of frequently. Why have I spent so much time competing in Black systems, right? I believe there's a cultural relevance that take place these particular weekends.
Your brother was being messy. So I probably won't see my woman, but one day this weekend.
Good. You should be at work anyway.
Yes, baby, because you know I will be at university.
That's right. And I'm coming to get my hair done tonight anyway. So, but, I believe that it's a necessity. Black pageantry is a necessity. It's not just a pageant, it's a celebration, it's a family reunion. It's an opportunity for us to come together and celebrate one another, and also have conversations about where we are in life and how we can assist each other in the new places we are. That's a networking opportunity when it comes to businesses and when it comes to family, love, and relationships. I celebrate Black pageantry in its totality.
Oh, man. And so Dash had an idea about...
That's not related to my work here at the Healing Project, sweetheart.
But we're talking about pageantry. But so Dash had an idea.
That's not connected to my work here at the Healing Project.
You see my ED looking at me? So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, you're not going to get me fired. I need my job, Raquel. This job is paying all my bills because they're going to rally to have me fired. So if this is not happening on my job, however... We don't want to come on my job. You just don't go on somebody's job just talking about any old thing,
That's right. So I'm going to go ahead and mute you because I don't want you to slip up. So I just went ahead and muted Darren because I don't want Darren to slip
this
up.
check comes.
And I know that I was the one to bring it up, so I just went ahead and muted this shit, Dad.
This check comes in all time.
This has been an amazing day, and we really always have a great time here at the Healing Project while we are getting the job done, taking care of community, making sure that we help as many people in community to get on the path and the journey to being healthy, healed, and whole. This has been another TWOC Talk Thursday, and I'm your girl Raquel. That's your girl Toy, and that's Brista right there, Dash. And so we are the team here at the Healing Project. And listen, until next week, we pray that all of you have an amazing, safe weekend. And we'll see you again next week at 5:30 on Thursday, right here at TWOC Talk Thursdays. We love you all.